This is the quiz review for lessons 1.1 to 1.3. So there isn't a note sheet in your packet, so I would suggest having a blank sheet of paper and taking really good notes on this quiz review because you can use notes on your quizzes, and this quiz review is very similar to your quiz. So again, I suggest taking notes. So the first couple problems say to write a numerical expression for the verbal phrase. So turning these words into numbers. So number 1 says the time it takes to make quilts is 7 hours each. So we have 6 quilts at 7 hours each. Well, we know that that word each is multiplication. So all we're going to do is we're going to take 6 times 7. Number 2 says the quotient of 16 and a number. So I see this word quotient, which I know is division, and then I have 16 and a number. So we write that left to right. So we have 16 divided by, and then since we don't know what our number is, we plug in a variable. So I'll just use x. 16 divided by x. The next couple problems say to simplify. So this goes back to when we were learning about the different properties and how we can move these numbers around to make it easier. So for number 1, we have the group around 12 plus x, but to make this easier on ourselves, we're going to regroup this using the associative property of addition to instead group together 12 plus 8 and then plus x. And remember, we can regroup that because it's all addition. There's only plus signs in this problem, and that property allows us to do that. Then I'm going to solve this. So I have to do parentheses first, 12 plus 8, which is 20, and then I have plus x. I can't combine those. They're not like terms, so that is my final answer. Box or circle it. The next one is y times 2 times 7. Well, we have multiplication here, so we could use the associative property of multiplication, but we already have our two numbers grouped together that we want. Our variable is on the outside. So I solve what's in parentheses first. 2 times 7, which is 14, and then we still have that times y. The only way to write this more simplified would be 14y. We put the number first, then the variable, nothing in between when it's multiplication. And then circle or box your answer. The next few are evaluating. And remember, evaluate means to solve. So we are going to solve these 3 problems using our order of operations, PEMDAS. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So number 1, we have 50 divided by 10 plus 5. There's not parentheses, there's not exponents, there isn't multiplication, but there is division. So I am going to do the division first. 50 divided by 10, which is 5, and then I still have plus 5. Now I only have addition left, so I can solve this. 5 plus 5 is 10. And there's our answer. Number 2 is 7 minus 3 times 2. There's not parentheses, there is an exponent, there is multiplication. So I'm going to do the multiplication first. And remember, if there's multiplication and division, we have to work those left to right. But in this case, there's only multiplication, so I'm going to start with that. 3 times 2, which is 6, and then I still have this 7 minus 6. We just have subtraction left, so I can solve that. 7 minus 6 is 1, and there's my answer. I want to show you quick, if you don't follow order of operations, you will not get the right answer. So if we had 7 minus 3 times 2, if you did subtraction first, 7 minus 3, you would get 4 times 2, which is 8. 8 is not even close to 1, so this does not work. You have to make sure you are following the order of operations. This last one here is 4 plus, in brackets, 4 times 4 divided by 4. So we first look to see, do we have parentheses? Yes, we do. We actually have 2 sets. The bracket stands for one set of parentheses, so we have to solve everything in the brackets before we can add that 4 on. But then we have to do the parentheses inside the bracket first. So I'm going to start with this 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16, and then we still have in brackets 16 divided by 4, and the 4 plus on the outside. And I rewrite that by line because it helps me to keep track of what I still have to do. If you don't write anything in, or everything in it, sometimes it's easy to miss a step, and then your answer is completely off. Okay, so now I kind of have to restart. I'm looking again. Do I have parentheses? Yes, I do. And inside those parentheses, I only have that one operation of 16 divided by 4, which is 4. Then I have to add that last 4 on from the outside. I just have addition left. 4 plus 4 is 16. There's my answer. No, it is not. 4 plus 4 is not 16. It is 8. There's my answer. This next problem says to evaluate, which means to solve, when n is 5 and w is 3. So anytime I have the variable of n, I'm going to plug in a 5. Anytime I have that variable of w, I'm going to plug in a 3. So I am going to rewrite this problem over here, 4n minus 3w, just to give me some more space. And then I'm going to plug in those numbers. So 4 times, and instead of writing n, I'm writing 5 minus 3 times, and instead of writing w, I'm going to write 3. And remember, I know that it's multiplication because anytime we have a number and a variable next to each other, it's automatically multiplying. So that's saying 4 times n. Then I'm going to solve this. I'm going to follow that order of operations, PEMDAS, and I look to see, are there parentheses? Yes, there are parentheses, but really those parentheses are standing there as multiplication. So I can actually skip to the multiplication step because I have no exponents. 4 times 5 is 20, and then I have minus 3 times 3. Before I can subtract, I have to multiply that 3 times 3 because I have to follow that order of operations. So then I'm going to do 3 times 3, which is 9. And we have 20 minus 9. Now our last step is to just subtract. That's the only operation left. 20 minus 9, which is 11. And there is my answer. The next one is Wn divided by 5 plus w. So when w and n are next to each other, two variables, that again is multiplication. So we're going to multiply w is 3 times n, which is 5, divided by 5 plus, and then w is 3. So I'm just plugging in those numbers for those variables. Now I need to follow order of operations. Are there parentheses? Yes, but they're there as multiplication. Are there exponents? No. There is both multiplication and division. And remember, when there is both multiplication and division, we have to work that left to right. So in this case, the multiplication comes first. 3 times 5, 15. And then we have divided by 5 plus 3. Now, following order of operations, division comes before addition. So I have to divide first. 15 divided by 5 is 3 plus 3. And 3 plus 3 leaves me with an answer of 6. The next problem says to rent a cotton candy machine, you have to pay a one-time deposit of $15, one-time deposit of $15, and then $10 per hour that you use the machine. Write an expression if you use it for H hours. So we know no matter how long we use it, we're going to have to put that deposit down of $15. And then every hour we use the machine, it's going to be $10. So that $15 is going to that doesn't change, right? That's that one-time deposit. So we're going to write that as 15 plus, and then we know that it's $10 per hour. Per is multiplication. So 10 times, and we're using H for hours, 10H. Then it says, find how much it will cost to use the machine for 3 hours. So I'm going to rewrite my equation, 15 plus 10H. So I'm going to have to pay that $15 as the one-time deposit. And then I'm going to plug 3 in for H because we're using the machine for 3 hours. So 15 plus 10 times 3. And then we're going to solve this using order of operations. So we can't do the addition first because multiplication comes before addition. So I have to do the 10 times 3 first, which is 30. And then I can bring down that 15 plus. Now I can solve this. 15 plus 30 leaves me with 45. Remember that whenever we have a word problem or a story problem, we always want to write our answer in a full sentence. So it says, find how much it will cost to use the machine for 3 hours. So we can write that as, it will cost $45. And there's our answer. Next problem says each movie ticket at the theater costs $11. So each movie ticket costs $11. When you order online, it costs a fee of $6. Write an expression for M amount of tickets you buy online. Okay, so we're talking here about a one-time fee of $6 when you pay online. So I'm going to write that as 6 plus because we're not changing that 6. No matter how many tickets we buy, we're still going to have to pay that $6 fee. And then we know each ticket, each is multiplication, is $11. So I'm going to write that as 11 times X. And then however many tickets we buy, we plug in for X to solve. Then it asks, how much will it cost to buy 6 tickets online? So if I'm going to buy 6 tickets online, I'm still going to have to pay that $6 fee. And then I can plug 6 into X because I'm buying 6 tickets. So we have 6 plus 11 times 6. Then following order of operations, we have to do the multiplication before we add. If you add first, you're going to get a completely different answer. 11 times 6 is 66. And then we'll bring down that plus 6. Now we only have addition left, so we can add 6 plus 66, which leaves me with 72. And this is a story problem, so we have to write our answer as a full sentence. So the question asked, how much will it cost to buy 6 tickets online? It will cost $72. Again, your sentence does not have to be exactly like mine. Our last problem says to write a word problem for the equation. So we are writing our own word problem for 7x plus 3. I'm going to give you an example, and then I would encourage you to try to come up with one on your own as practice before the quiz. So I know that this plus 3 here is a one-time thing, And then this 7x is the number that's going to change because we're going to plug a number in for x, and then that's going to figure out what that number is that we're adding to 3. So let's say you spend 3 minutes checking into the zoo. Each exhibit you stop at takes you 7 minutes. And then you could say, how long were you at the zoo for? If you went to 20 exhibits. So there's just one example. Good luck on the quiz. You got this.